How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
this the end? There's a noise inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the dystopia. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in dystopia. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in dystopia. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Karlyn? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Karlyn B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah, please.
But Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I watch these streams, and I've been watching a self-professed fascist named Karlyn, who drinks and basically roasts these live streams. But weirdly, she has apparently embedded herself with Antifa before, and so it's such a funny stream because like,
so they tolerate her?
Oh no, not anymore. She like, no. She's like, I mean, I don't know if she's trolling or not, but on her stream, she's like, I am a fascist.
Right.
So she's proudly proclaiming she's a fascist. I don't know how much of that is trolling, how much of it is real, but conservatives who are drawn to her stream will say things like, these people are funded by George Soros. And it's the funniest thing because she gets so mad. And she's like, get off fucking Fox News. Stop watching that shit. It's all wrong. Do these people look funded? Do these people look like they have money? They're not funded. It's so, and I guess her bigger point is by saying these are funded agitators and not saying what they actually are, which is anti-capitalist revolutionaries, you dilute what's really happening. Because what's really happening, according to her, and I think a fair amount of people, is that the economy is so fucked. The middle class is diminishing so much. The cost of living is so high that this is the perfect soil you need if you wanted communism to grow anywhere.
And I've learned a lot from Karlyn Borysenko, who goes in undercover with the left. And I've figured out from looking at her work, like when I first saw her stuff, I was like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. I need to like connect with her. And she actually, the first time I got assaulted in 2025, followed me and sent me messages. And she checked on me for months, just privately. It was so nice to have somebody like, are you okay? But I could tell she knew what she was talking about, and I subscribe to her. I look at all her stuff. I've learned so much, and I thought I knew a lot. I've learned so much.
What's up, guys? Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Who's ready for another spy stream infiltration? Who is ready for another spy stream infiltration today? I know who's ready. Tolkien, hang on. Tolkien fan is ready, gifting a channel membership. W's, bro. Old Sub is ready for another spy stream type of day, gifting 5 channel memberships. That brings us up to 6 memberships of our 100 channel membership goal today. Guys, if you missed last night's spy stream, you missed out. You missed out. Because last night's spy stream was so epic. It was so epic because wouldn't you know it, the people we are spy streaming got wind of the fact that I publicly spy streamed their presentation on Monday. They heard about it, as I knew they would, because I'm puppeteering over here as well for my own entertainment. And they were so pissed off when they found out that not only was I publicly spy streaming on Monday and gave it away for free for everyone, but then I was getting people to gift channel memberships and buy channel memberships and buy Substack memberships and all these other things just to come and watch their training. They were so pissed off that they could not stop talking about me for the entire training. And in case you missed it, I put together a highlight reel. Just for everyone who wasn't there to see it. Let's just take a moment, please. Let's play the highlight reel. And I would love it, guys. If you want to really piss off the communists in this video, can we make some progress on that channel membership goal during this clip? I would love to like get a good chunk of this goal knocked out. Can everyone really? I promise you guys, there's going to be, let me turn on the chat so that you can see yourselves. There will not be a better time for you guys to gift channel memberships than when I play you this clip, just in case you haven't seen it yet, because you are going to really piss off the leftists if they see you doing that, okay? So if you don't want to do it, that's fine. No one has to, of course, but gifting channel memberships will get people into the spy stream we are doing in about an hour and a half. we're infiltrating them again. And then we're going to do it again. And then we're going to do it again. And just to piss them off and just to prove that there's not shit they can do about it, Shigalago in there with the W. Guys, I'm going to play this clip, and I hope we can make some good progress on that Cheeto membership goal during the clip. It's about 13 minutes long. Let's see what you guys can do.
If you're wondering why we keep this so locked down, it is, and are so careful about your identities, it is because we often have bad actors who are attending our trainings with the intent to disrupt. And we have one of those disruptors live streaming our training for her base tonight. Yeah! And so the exciting news is that we have many more people participating in this training than we originally thought or expected. And welcome to everybody.
Shout out!
Speaking directly to the folks on the live stream for a second, I want to clear up a couple things.
Hi!
There has been no infiltration on your behalf. Nothing radical has happened.
You don't know who I am.
No leftist hideouts were breached. No dark webs have been explored. This is a free training. It's open to anybody. If you are paying for this on YouTube, you do not have to. You can access it for free, just like everyone else.
You guys can go
again, we're glad that everyone's here. We hope you learned something. For the folks who are here because you want to defend your community from authoritarianism and to build a stronger democracy, a very, very warm welcome to you. Okay.
Winning.
So we've got a couple housekeeping things. I want to invite you to participate in an opening question, and it's a little less fun because you'll be able to see everybody's responses, but we will see your responses. And the opening question is in the spirit of visioning for the kind of community that we want to live in, that we're working towards with our community defense network. So it's a less/more kind of a question. So what's something that you want to see less of, and what's something that you want to, but if you have a question that you think would be good to lift up for the whole group, it's very likely that we'll write you back and say,
our trainings are free. Unlike some of the fascist YouTubers, we don't charge to come and watch us talk. But
losers.
We do always appreciate any support for the work. Many of you have donated to us for summer camp, and we're really grateful for that. Every little bit helps. So yeah, if you'd like to donate, there's a QR code. We said I think Gabe said it, we create QR codes for everything. But if it's hard to rub a few nickels together today or tomorrow or the next day, that's okay. The contribution that you are making to this work by being here is all we need. So you are welcome to every training, and there's no need to pay or to make a donation. Okay.
Think about dealing with the people as the part of.
You don't all have to like each other. I am fairly certain that anybody who worked with me in a local organizing network and more than 50% don't like me.
I can't imagine why.
I'm a pain in the ass, right? Certainly the fascists who are live streaming this don't like me at all.
I actually just think you're Jewish.
Super annoying.
I just think you're Jewish.
You don't have to like me.
Honestly.
Do you want to work with me?
She's pissed.
And that's what you need to keep asking yourself about the folks that you're with, right? They're also probably your neighbors.
For many, we have not been organizing or thinking about community building or, using our First Amendment.
We as community defense networks and people who are engaging with each other as neighbors owe it to our neighbors to help them put into context what are the common sense things that are we letting our fears overwhelm what is actually out there? I fear authoritarianism. I fear, the destruction of civil rights.
If only they knew how many of us
I do.
are.
I also know that I want to make a big plug for tomorrow night because I'm really excited about it. Zach just mentioned it. We're going to talk about narrative. What do we mean by narrative? We mean storytelling. And we are famous. No, we're not famous. Only on the YouTube fascist channel. We are known among the people we work closely with.
You are
really
pissed. We'll be in your narrative
helping
workshop.
people
It's all good.
work through how to marry their organization strategies with storytelling strategy, right? That these two things are essential and they go together. So if you liked last night and tonight, come tomorrow, bring your friends. Nobody has to have come tonight or the night before to come tomorrow night. All these trainings can stand alone. And, you know, we make Jessica do little recaps every at the beginning of every training. It doesn't matter. It's like a little preview.
Just you wait, tomorrow will be good.
Yeah. So we're excited about tomorrow night. We're so glad you all have been joining us the last couple of nights. Summer camp has been fun. And we'll be back tomorrow and Thursday night. And then we have some more fun stuff on Friday. So take good care of each other. Keep up the great work. You all are amazing. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Suffer Jill.
Thanks. Good night.
Well, obviously and clearly, the best part of that presentation was me. Obviously and clearly, the most interesting part of that particular infiltration, and yeah, Jill, I'm going to call it an infiltration, whether you like it or not. I had to sign up under a fake name. The fact of the matter is, if I had signed up under my real name, they would have kicked me out and canceled the membership. So I don't buy into this little excuse that Jill gave, where she was like, this is a public meeting. Anyone can sign up for it. I don't know why this is such a big deal. Why is she calling this an infiltration? If I had signed up, Jill, let me spell it out for you. If I had signed up under my real name, you guys would have kicked me out of the webinar. It wasn't a public meeting because you would have kicked me out just for being me. And Jill, I find it very duplicitous at best that you insinuated we disrupt your meetings. I have never disrupted your meetings. All I do, Jill, is sit here and record you. That's it. We sit, we watch, we listen, we record you. And if you guys say anything ridiculous, we'll put it out on the internet. Just like we're going to put out this clip of you whining and complaining about me your entire presentation. Why are you so afraid of us watching your presentations, Jill? Jill the Jewess. Jill the Jewess. I just have a feeling. I have a feeling. It was the seething. It had a very certain tendency. But I have to say, states at the core, it's also a lie that you guys didn't try to charge money for this. I think that's the other funny thing. Actually, let me do this first. Before I point out states at the core hypocrisy, let me do this. One in the chat, if you guys would prefer to pay me money so that I record their asses for Spy Stream, then you would rather sign up for their presentation for free and watch it. So one in the chat, if you would rather pay me money to come to Spy Stream and watch that presentation. Two in the chat, if you would prefer to go to them for free for the same content. Let's just be clear about what we're dealing with, Jill. You can see the chat on the screen. Ain't not one person in my community regret paying me money for the privilege of coming to Spy Stream. Spy Stream is always worth the price of admission because, Jill, what you don't seem to understand is we are documenting and archiving you guys for history, and we're using your trainings to reverse engineer all your tactics and strategy and hopefully teach people what you guys are doing so that they can defeat you. That is the purpose, Jill. That is the purpose. There's not a single person in the chat that minds paying a $5 a month membership to me when I am doing something much bigger than just annoying your stupid asses on the internet. But Jill, the thing of it is this, you're lying when you say you didn't ask for money. And the reason I know that is on the homepage for the Smash Authoritarian Summer Camp. This is the original sign-up page for the Smash Authoritarian Summer Camp. And to register, which is what we're watching, by the way. This is the summer camp that we're watching. That she claims you can come to ours for free. You can, and I'm going to show you that. But it is not true that they did not try to charge money for it because they had a pay what you can policy. And in order to register through this form, They asked for a one-time donation. There was no way to register for the summer camp on this website without giving them money. Watch, if I say I want to pay you $0, continue. They say to register for the Smashed Authoritarian Summer Camp, you cannot put in $0. 10, 50, 100, 150. Jill, my channel memberships are $5 a month, girl. My channel memberships are $5 a month. You are trying to charge people 10, 50, 100, $150 to do this. Now, how you get around that is you scroll down to the bottom of the form. If money is a barrier, click here and register for free. So, my point is this. You guys can attend their stuff for free. Most spy streams are for free. But are things that I can get into for free, and then I bring them to you guys and we watch it together as a community. But let's not make any mistake. States at the core absolutely try to get people to pay them money for this, and probably they were not very successful at it. Probably that's the problem, Jill. Probably you're pissed off because I got so many people to donate channel memberships to me when you guys tried to get people to pay you money and no one wanted to do it. Too bad, so sad, Jill. Too bad, so sad. I mean, why do you leftists even bother lying to your audiences when it is so easily disprovable? So, guys, we will be continuing with Spy Stream tomorrow. And the real reason that Jill and States at the Core are pissed off about this is there's not shit they can do about it. Because I'm signed up for their streams under like 4 different names and accounts. And they can't figure out what names I'm using. And that's just too bad, so sad, Jilly Jill Jill. Too bad. So sad. Too bad. So sad. Because we're going to record all your meetings and you can keep whining and complaining about me. And if you do, Jill, I'm just going to clip it and put it on the internet and we're going to laugh at you and I'm going to use it to make more money and you're going to cry and it's going to be even more entertaining for us. But I can't wait to hear your workshop on how to build an effective narrative. I can't wait for that. That's going to be awesome. Did you guys have fun tonight? 1 in the chat if you had fun in Spy Stream tonight and it was worth the price of admission. 2 in the chat if this was a big waste of time and it sucked. 1 in the chat if you had fun at Spy Stream tonight and it was worth the price of admission. 2 in the chat if this just really, really sucked and was boring and was stupid and lame and you didn't learn anything and all that. You see the chat, Jill? See the chat? Nice try trying to entice them away to your free presentation that you tried to charge money for, Jewess. Nice try. Better luck next time. All right, so that's what you missed last night for Spy Stream. Guys, if you missed it, you literally missed leftists whining about the fact that I infiltrated their meeting, which they claim was a public meeting. But if I had used my real name to sign up for it, they would have kicked my ass out, even though I am part of the public. I don't know what the problem is. We didn't disrupt their training. I didn't even ask a question. We just let them talk and recorded their asses, and sometimes that's enough. So, guys, we will be doing Spy Stream again tonight because they've got presentations going all week long. We have 15 new channel members. We got some more channel memberships donated. We got Accent saying free. Where do I get a refund? You don't, bro. But hey, thanks for the money. Thanks for the more money. I really do appreciate that. Sheikah Lago's in there with a couple W's. Appreciate you very much, Sheikah Lago. Mitchell's in there with a W. Grandma Nay's in there with a W. We got Grillis donating 5 channel memberships. W's to you, Grillis. Guys, in order to come to Spy Stream tonight, which will start in a little over an hour, you can become a supporter on my Substack, my Locals, my Patreon, a Twitter subscriber, or the most popular way currently, a YouTube channel member. And one of the ways that I fund the work I'm doing and keep myself in business, because I am independently funded. I am funded by normal people. I have no political masters. I take no political money. I don't have to shill any political narrative. My job is to tell you the truth and to show you directly for yourself so that you can see the primary sources and make your decisions about what you want to do. The way I make this work is we have channel membership goals on the days when we're doing what I call a class stream, which is like more of a productive stream, not a drama stream. And it's really important, guys, that we meet these goals because I cannot stream as much as I do, both the serious stuff and the entertaining stuff, if we don't meet these goals. Because if we don't meet them, I'm going to have to go make money in another way. And that's just the way it goes because we need to fund content that you want on the internet. I need to stay independently funded because I never want to have to take money to tell you guys a narrative. I will never allow that to happen. And I need your help to do that. When you support my work on one of those platforms, or you get a gifted channel membership or something like that, you get access to these spy streams, which is when we go inside a live training, happens live in real time. No one else is showing you this content on the internet. I would love to hit 100 channel memberships in the next hour or so. That would be awesome. I know it's an audacious goal. We're already 15% of the way there. And guys, I'm going to give you a great presentation today. We are going to be watching a presentation that was literally just streamed last night. This was actually streamed live at the same time as Spy Stream, and I knew I was going to have access to it after it was live stream. We were originally going to Spy Stream this, and then the other Spy Stream came up. Sometimes we have to make choices, but our favorite queer Marxist feminist just last night gave a talk about her new book, which is about queer Marxist feminism and all sorts of other things. And we love Sophie Lewis on this channel. If you've never seen Sophie, you are in for a treat. Now, guys, I am going to keep us honest, though, about the channel membership goal, because quite frankly, I would have loved to bring in 25 channel memberships already. I'm not going to start this presentation unless we can get up to 25 gifted channel memberships. Okay? I'm not asking the sun, the moon, and the stars. We're only 10 away. I want to make sure we're keeping this goal in mind, because yesterday we did not meet the goal, sadly, which was okay because we way overshot it on Monday. So it's okay, but we do need to stay on track today. W's to you, Nick. Thank you for the gifted channel membership. I really appreciate that. Guys, gifting a channel membership is $5. This does not break the bank. And you are also supporting other people on the channel while you do it. W's to you, Tolkien fan. I love gifting out channel memberships because it re-engages people with the channel. It gives people access to content that they may not otherwise watch. And I just think it's a nice thing to do. Yeah, I think you have to do it on the computer, Jan. Welcome back. It's good to see you. And sadly, so on the app, if you guys don't have the option to gift channel memberships, if you send in like a $5 super chat and just say channel memberships, I will count that towards the goal because I know that's a glitch with the app. Channel memberships are $5, so however much you super chat in and say channel memberships, I will count that towards the goal. We got Peggy in there. Thank you so much, Peggy, for the gifted channel membership. Guys, we are not starting the presentation today until we get up to 25, so it's really up to you guys if we watch this or not. And listen, I have to say, I don't know if YouTube notifications didn't go out or something, but the viewership is low today. So I have to wonder, I mean, do you guys actually want to watch Sophie Lewis? I don't know. Maybe people are Sophied out. Maybe people are Sophied out. But if we can't get to 25, guys, I'm going to go do something else because, I mean, I'm just like, again, our actual goal is 100. And if people don't want to watch the presentation, then I will just take a break for the next hour and I will come back and do Spy Stream later for people who actually want to see the content. It's up to you guys. I'm going to give it 5 minutes. I'm not being unreasonable, guys. I'm really not. I'm really not. I know there are people here who can afford to fund this. Maria Callis fan, thank you for the 5 gifted channel memberships. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. We really, really appreciate it, guys. We're like 2 away now. We're like 2. Oh, we just got there. Who's the hero? Who is the hero that got us there? Who's the hero? MC! MC is the hero that gets us to 25 channel memberships. Thank you so much, MC, for donating. Really, really appreciate it. Guys, I will be checking in on this goal and badgering you and haranguing you for the entire next hour of this stream. Don't get it twisted. We're not letting go of this stream. Sacrifice for the channel memberships gods, by the way. Still waiting on email response. Okay, I'll make sure I check that, Odin. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the super chat. I will add that towards channel memberships, my friend. Thank you for that. All right, guys, let's dig into it. This is about an hour-long presentation, so it should take us right up to spy stream time. We'll get through as much of it as we can. This is Sophie Lewis yesterday. W's to you, John. Thank you so much for the gifted channel membership. I really, really appreciate it. Let's see what Sophie had to say.
This is Alexa. I'm the events coordinator.
Oh,
here.
also, you can see the other person's boobs, and that's been very important to Reagan. Reagan was very excited that you could see this girl's tits. I don't know, Reagan's turning lesbo on us, but
Scrapbooks are magic. We're so excited to be hosting the launch event for Sophie Lewis's book Femphilia, along with Jamie Hood. Before I get started, I just have a few housekeeping notes to get out of the way. We'll be doing a hand-raised audience Q&A at the end of the discussion, so you can start thinking of.
I'm just gonna speed up the playback speed a little bit.
To them. After the talk tonight, Sophie will be signing and personalizing books at the alcove near where you checked in. I'll tell you how to line up for that when the time comes. And then if you're joining us on the YouTube live stream, you can explore the link in the description box below to buy many, many copies of Femphilia. All right, in Femphilia, Sophie Lewis makes the case for the vital importance of politicized feminists, a feminism that is self-consciously artificial, extravagant in its erotic and political appetites, and staunchly anti-work, abolitionist, and utopian. Sophie Lewis is a writer, utopian feminist, and ex-academic scholar based in Philadelphia, hailing originally from the UK, France, and Germany. She is the author of Emily. I did this so earlier today. Enemy Feminism.
Yeah, guys, this is an example of socialist tattoos, what I call socialist tattoos. And listen, I've been involved in tattoo culture basically my entire adult life. I have good tattoos, though. I have good tattoos. Okay, not all of my tattoos are good, but I have like that one's really good anyway. But like socialists, I've been to enough socialist events in person that I started to notice this trend with socialists in that a lot of them have bad black and white line tattoos all over their arms. And this is a socialist thing. Now, well, I shouldn't say it's a socialist thing. Not everyone who has black and white line tattoos on their arm is a socialist, but a lot of socialists have these bad black and white line tattoos on their arms that are just a whole bunch of random shit. And so don't make the assumption that if you see anyone with these tattoos, they're a socialist, but it is just a weird phenomenon in that subculture where a whole lot of them have these bad, and they're always poorly done, by the way, these bad black line tattoos that are just of like random shit. So that's what I call a socialist tattoo for people who haven't seen that before. Hey, Kay in the blue, thank you so much for that gifted channel membership. W's to you.
Abolish the family and full surrogacy now. Lewis's essays and articles appear routinely in magazines such as N+1, Harper's, The Drift, the LA Review of Books, Boston Review, and the London Review of Books, as well as on her Patreon newsletter, Repro Utopia. She teaches online courses on critical theory at the Brooklyn Institute for Social Research and is working on a book about the liberation of children. Jamie Hood is the author
I can't wait for that book.
A Life and How to Be a Good Girl, both of which we also have available for purchase at the front. One of Vogue's best books of 2020, and Regards Marcel, a monthly newsletter on Proust and other miscellany. She lives in Brooklyn, and we're so lucky to have them both here with us today. Without any further ado, please join me in giving Sophie and Jamie a very warm welcome.
Thank you, Sophie.
I'll just count. I think we're going to start with the reading from Sophie.
Oh, tranny!
Doing this with
Tranny voice. Tranny voice. That's why the boobs are out. Tranny voice.
Jamie and it's all for coming out. Against nature. When certain feminists first turned against girly things, it was a giant error in Western women's liberation history. In its joy-oriented solicitousness and relational self-pleasuring, femininity is the domain not only of oppression and stricture, but of most of the things that make life worth living, including...
Hey, Nick, do you still like the tranny boobs? Nick said earlier in the chat that he appreciated the boobs, and I'm like, now that you know, Nick, do you still appreciate the boobs?
Only the subsistence of bodies, but also gratuitousness and excess. Although there is conservation and conservatism at stake in many femininities, care, after all, is often counter-revolutionary. There can be no radical change for the good on this earth if the germ of the femme is not at our movement's core. To be sure, many of the Western feminist movement's analyses of the manners, mores, and aesthetics of female subordination, coded under patriarchal class societies as feminine, were frequently on target. When, for example,
well, you know the rule, bot. You know the rule. If it has an apple, it has banana.
Bourgeois respectability, white beauty, service, hairlessness, modesty, and heterosexiness are compelled from feminized people, when we disproportionately are evaluated as people on the basis of our niceness, and when we are unjustly enjoined toward selflessness, then feminine comportment would seem straightforwardly to suck. When the privilege of crafting, mending, pleasing, or comforting human beings is gendered, the privilege appears like a burden and a curse. But the task, if we meet with unfreedom in this domain,
Unfreedom, Sophie.
not the eros.
Unfreedom. The task, if we meet with unfreedom in this domain, is to destroy the unfreedom. Sophie, you've gone full Orwellian. You understand that, right?
A feminism that denigrates caretaking is quite simply a feminism against itself. I'm going to skip to another little section of the introduction where I delineate a little bit between femme and feminine. It should be growing apparent at this point. You'll have to read the intermediary portion to evaluate that. That anti-femininity and femphobia are substantially the same thing, even as femininity and feminist are not. The capitalist value circuit that manifests socially as condescension toward the color pink does not in itself discriminate much between the fascist ladies' bubblegum-hued submachine gun and the street transvestite action revolutionaries' fuchsia off-the-shoulder dress. But from our vantage, the relation between femininity and feminists should be understood as part of the relation between capitalist housework and communized love.
I need to listen to that again. Sorry.
Value circuit that manifests socially as condescension toward the color pink does not in itself discriminate much between the fascist ladies' bubblegum-hued submachine gun and the street transvestite action revolutionaries.
Am I supposed to have a bubblegum-hued submachine gun? Because that would actually be fucking awesome. Like, I didn't know that fascist ladies had bubblegum-hued submachine guns. I'm gonna work on that, Sophie. Great suggestion. Thank you.
Off-the-shoulder dress. But from our vantage, the relation between femininity and feminists should be understood as part of the relation
femininity to feminists
between capitalist housework and communized love.
Between capitalist housework and communized love. Femininity is to capitalist housework as feminists is to communized love. So femininity is a reference to gender, is a reference to woman, the oppressed in the patriarchy, which was created by capitalism. Femme is a reference to performance, like the gender that we are performing outside of capitalism. Femme is outside of capitalism. Femme is anti-capitalist. And that's why it is analogous to communized love. Does everyone understand that? When Sophie is trying to redefine words here, when she says femininity, she means the capitalist definition of woman, which is oppressed in the patriarchy. When Sophie says femme, F-E-M-M-E, she is talking about anti-capitalist performance of gender that is explicitly anti-capitalist. So femininity is not the same as femme. Femininity, according to Sophie's definition, is capitalist. Femme is anti-capitalist. One in the chat if you understand what I just said, two in the chat if you're confused.
Our wager that by inhabiting the space of womanhood or the kitchen politically, by occupying it way too much, the most, we help to turn the whole system inside out.
Yes.
This assumes that there is a blessed kernel inside the social construct, woman, that deserves to be lifted up and actualized, even as the rest is destroyed and transformed. And that, incidentally, is what abolition means in the strict sense of positive supersession, to borrow from Leah Lakshmi Pishna Samarasinha's Femme Shark manifesto.
I think the origin of this thing by Sophie is that Sophie identifies as a queer non-binary, okay? But you can see Sophie does not dress like a boy. Sophie does not dress androgynous, and she never does, honestly. I've been watching Sophie presentations for years. Sophie usually dresses very girly, just like she is dressed right now. She has like the full lip. She's got the red hair. She shows off her tits all the time. Like, it's like Sophie is a more girly person, but she doesn't want to identify as a woman because that is a capitalist construct to her because she is a queer non-binary. But the whole impetus behind this book is that leftists have rejected this idea of being more girly because it was a construct of capitalism and denoted oppression and stuff like that. And Sophie's basically trying to say, no, we can still be femme because femme is anti-capitalist. We're not being feminine, we are being femme, which is a different thing, because she wants to be able to dress girly and still be a non-binary queer. I really think that's the entire origin story of this new book that Sophie has put out.
This is in all caps. We're girls.
I can't
up, turned inside
fix
out,
their volume
and
down. I'm sorry.
remixed.
It's up as high as it can.
Femininity promises destiny, as though imagining a temporarily embarrassed, natural woman.
Yeah,
latent
exactly. Trannies can be femme. Example right here. Example right here. Trannies can be femme too.
in every girl, like the millionaire proverbially lurking inside every American. Femme, on the other hand, embodies gender's lumpen proletarian class consciousness and bespeaks the cyborgian hustle of the gender dispossessed. Another way of saying this is that femininity is to femme as nature is to nature culture, Donna Haraway's term for the techno-animalistic mixed upness of our bodies, history-saturated cyborg composition. The defining characteristic of the feminine
would be mass.
is self-invisibilization, since it is passed off as natural, as non-work. But the hallmarks of the femme are self-conscious labor, historicity, non-innocence, and unashamed artifice. In villainizing the power and pleasure of the womanish, tout court,
The
cultural
womanish.
feminists throughout the bubble bath and the baby.
Well done, Sophie.
Thank you, Sophie. That was lovely. And it took my first couple questions right out of the water.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kidding. No, this is funny. This is the first time we've met in person as far as I know.
Yeah.
But I saw you read at Wendy's Subway 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you were actually reading the Dworkin essay from this book.
Yes. With Constance Debray and Tansy Ward.
Yes. It was a lovely reading. I guess one of the things I wanted to start, just so we can sort of ease into things, is like thinking about the idea of being a recovering academic. And if you could talk about that, maybe that'll sort of lead into, I always like to open by asking like sort of what led you to this point. Sort of, that can be like a writerly trajectory, how you became a writer, like how it got to that. It can be the origin story of the book. But yeah, you can sort of take it how you want to, but maybe start with the academic stuff.
Thanks. Well, I did a lot of academia. I was sort of one of the people for whom university was such an escape from family and such a sort of life-saving thing, really. And it was free, and I couldn't really think of anything better to do after I'd finished an undergraduate degree of, reading and writing and thinking and than to do more of that if I could. And it is, I think, if you can figure out a way to have funded spells of time in the academy, and you are someone suited, or for whom it is a pleasing accommodation to the discipline of capital to be sort of laboring in that way. It's such a wonderful thing, to read and write as your job, I think. And that was how I approached my master's, my other master's, my PhD. I know this sounds a little sort of glib and not plausible, but I think I didn't really ever perceive what I was disciplinarily doing differently from being a writer at the point where I was disciplinarily in the environmental humanities, when I switched over to politics, and then when I switched to geography, human geography as a discipline that exists. That was mine. It's a ragtag holding container, as far as I can tell, for disparate anarcho-communists. Theorists of space. Oh, David Harvey, Doreen Massey, sort of lots of people that you wouldn't necessarily think are geographers are in fact geographers. I'm technically a geographer. I suppose.
Hey, Odin, thanks so much for the super chat. Has feminism always been tied to anti-capitalism? No, it hasn't. Actually, Sophie's last book was about how there are all sorts of people who say they're feminists but aren't really feminists, because Sophie's position is that you must be an anti-capitalist to be a feminist. So we need to be very clear. It is not correct to say that feminism has caused all these problems. It is correct to say that far left queer feminism has caused a lot of problems, but like there are many different types of feminism, and not every type of feminism is associated with the far left and like actual socialists and communists. So no, it has not always been associated and is not all associated to this day. When we're talking about queer feminism, we are talking about very specifically feminists who are also anti-capitalist. If you are a feminist like J.K. Rowling and you are not anti-capitalist, then you are not feminist according to these people. Thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it.
But I also felt very dysphoric in the academy. Maybe that's a strange word to pick, but I felt maybe it's more of a sort of neuro incompatibility or something. At the point where it would have to start resembling a job more. And so I didn't try very hard, and sort of on purpose, sort of not on purpose, sort of they didn't reject me, I quit, sort of leaned out, I would say. And I I've always, since I was about 4, not just wanted to write, but insisted on writing. I mean, it's I recently came into possession of a box of childhood productions of
really great point, Master Shay.
I knew there were some of these. I could tell that I remembered some of them, but there's really a huge stack of novels by my 5, 6, 7-year-old self. Sophie's cough. That is that rabbit who has a cough. And I did the illustrations myself. Anyway, this all started before I could even actually write, so I would have to accost random grown-ups to get them to actually do the writing. But I had sort of produced the book itself myself with the illustrations and the faces already.
Hey, A&S, thanks so much for being a member of the channel for 4 months. Is the end goal to battle with those who wish to remain capitalists? Well, no, the end goal is to overthrow capitalism. The end goal of all of this is to overthrow capitalism and to overthrow the government. That's it. That's the end goal, is to overthrow capitalism and fuck everything up.
Anyway, I don't know what kind of psychoanalytic comment one might make about getting what you wish for. I don't think I thought that being a writer would involve, terrible posture and eye strain and all that. I think I thought it involved like a quill and a window. But I have, in a sense, gotten what I
me
wished
too,
for,
Sophie.
Which is rare.
Me too, actually.
And I think I really like it. But the amount of luck and privilege involved, I'd written a blog post about a reality TV show called First Dates, which I analysed in my usual sort of autistically earnest. I mean, when I say autistic, I mean I like to miss the point on purpose. I like to sort of misunderstand on purpose. Something like Love Island. And I think I know that I'm misunderstanding on purpose, but I think there's also part of me that is quite, it's just really it's very sincere. I'm a very earnest person. My Patreon is called Repro Utopia, for God's sake. And I like to look at things as though they were already on my side, as though everyone is already a comrade.
Comrade.
And so I was writing about this terrible TV show like this, and an editor at Verso sort of spotted it, and she couldn't even find my email address, so she had to sort of track it down, and somehow I got offered a book deal at the point where I was leaning out of academia. And then I didn't think it was possible to be a writer, actually, but it sort of was, if you're willing to not live in New York, not have kids, obviously, be quite broke, really. And also my symptom is workaholism. I don't know if that answers your question, Mark.
I think it does. I mean, I think partly it's because I consider myself a recovered academic,
Recovered.
I mean, I've been out of it for 14 years.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's sort of different.
Okay, great, yeah.
But it's interesting to hear you talk about that. This is an interesting sort of multiple prongs, but partly because I think one of the things that drove me out of the academy was that I felt like the writing I was doing was not the kind of writing that I would ever connect with people over. Like I didn't like hearing you talk about sort of imagining people as always already your comrades when you're writing is like a really interesting way of approaching it, I think. And for me, like academia sort of over determines like the way that you write, and it compels you're compelled to sort of be so niche. You have to sort of reinvent the wheel every time. And then two people read your dissertation, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like ridiculous. You know, I had like the first big piece of writing I had went sort of viral, and like my department shared it and everything. I thought it was so embarrassing because they were horrible. But yeah, just thinking about sort of like, I think you partly also it's that I think you occupy a very fascinating intellectual position because you like there is an academic quality to your writing, but it's engaging, it's readable, like people enjoy it, you know, as opposed to like someone's dissertation. And so, yeah, I guess that was sort of the fixation for me on thinking about having similar trainings and coming out of those trainings. And I don't know, one of the things I've talked to friends of mine about has been sort of like, you know, who are our big sort of readable and like, and recognized like feminist intellectuals. And like, you're one of the few, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I look up to your academic trajectory very much. Maybe in a couple of years I'll be fully recovered too.
Will you talk to me about, I mean, we can talk about what we talked about back there if you want to talk publishing dirt, but like how the book came about, you know, so you have 3 books before this, you're working on the children's liberation book. And then, so talk to me about how femophilia.
I'll be quite honest, I just thought that I've written a hell of a lot of essays and it might be nice to see if there's a way of organizing them. I mean, yes. So, you know, is it fully, I reworked a lot of old essays. And when I was selecting essays, it was quite an interesting process because it made me, I mean, yes, but that's the way around it was, quite transparently. It was sort of like, is there a book I could make out of essays that has a sort of thematic unity? And it turned out, yeah, because I am actually always sort of, not always, there are certainly lots of other things that don't fit, but I am very, very often you know, going after femphobia in culture, it turns out, in a care communizational way, and sort of rejecting a premise that seems to be accepted very well.
You like my new necklace? Do you know what this is? These are imitation fake fucking diamonds that when you wear this out in the sun, it looks so real and it sparkles. And I got it off of like Instagram. And it was just like, I was just like fucking around one night. It was like a nighttime impulse purchase. And I was like, I was shocked. I got it yesterday. I was like, holy shit, this actually does look like real diamonds. And that's kind of awesome. So, yep. Guys, Sophie just mentioned the communization of care. I want people to understand that when Sophie means the communization of care, she means the abolition of the nuclear family to provide all the resources to everyone. She also means implementation of universal health care so that everyone gets every possible healthcare service for free, up to and including abortion and trans-affirming care and psychiatric drugs and all that stuff. And so that is what she means. When she says communization of care, she means the elimination of privatization to include private property ownership, to include parental rights, to include the nuclear family, and the implementation of like a universal healthcare system where all healthcare is free for everyone. No private doctors, no private insurance, none of that.
And sort of rejecting a premise that seems to be accepted very widely, that has to do with a choice for women between the hearth and the workplace, which I think misses just, you know, so much.
Yo, old sub in like a fucking king and a legend with the 10 gifted channel memberships. W's, old sub. Thank you so much for keeping us on track with the membership goal. We love you. We appreciate you so much, guys. I would love to get up to 100 channel memberships before the end of the stream. The end of the stream will be in about 45 minutes. I know it's an audacious goal. We had a shorter stream today, but I'm gonna go be doing spy stream later, and the more memberships we can give out, the more people who get access to spy stream later, and it's gonna be a really good spy stream tonight. We're gonna listen to leftists talking about how they craft their political narrative. So I think it's actually going to be a great night for Spy Stream. It starts in about 45 minutes, and we have until then to hit our channel membership goal of 100 gifted channel memberships. I would love to hit it today. If you appreciate that I'm taking the time to show you this stuff, break it down, answer your questions, help you understand what's going on. No one else is showing you this content on the internet. You can only get that here. And I really need to maintain independence from all political funding. So you guys can help me out by donating some channel memberships, getting some more people into Spy Stream later, and supporting the work I do. And I really appreciate it.
feminist thought and communist feminist and anarchist feminist thought has had to say about this false dichotomy and the structuring of the world according to the public-private divide being the problem in and of itself, and the fact that we could think about changing the character of the household rather than accepting it as the confining place against which a sort of market-mediated labor is counterposed. And I think there's so much evident misogyny in so much feminism, which is an odd, the first time that anyone I think ever hears that premise.
There is misogyny in so much feminism means that a lot of feminism upholds capitalism. Capitalism is what creates misogyny, because capitalism created the socially constructed roles of men and women and gave men all the power and all the money and put women in the workplace where they did the unpaid labor of having and raising the next generation of proletarian workers in the nuclear family. That is the patriarchy. So Sophie believes capitalism creates misogyny because it created the gender roles. The gender roles created the gender hierarchy, which is the patriarchy. And there are a lot of people who claim to be feminists, but they still uphold this oppressive system.
A phrase like feminist misogyny, which actually I first encountered, who knows if someone else coined that exact phrase before, but Susan Gubar, a literary scholar, wrote a very interesting essay about Mary Wollstonecraft called that. And there was quite an academic sort of brouhaha about that, because I think people don't quite imagine how that's possible. And yet as soon as you get over that reaction, you think, well, how could it be that something as historically significant, a body of thought as historically significant as feminism, how could it not be shaped not just by class and racial supremacism, but actually also paradoxically
Class,
by
capitalism,
patriarchy.
Oh,
right? And when you sort of think about this is my enemy feminism's intervention in a nutshell, it's sort of less, I think it's quite important, even though it might sound like a small tweak, or it depends actually. Some people hear it as a small tweak, some people think it's really indigestible, but instead of thinking about feminisms as a sort of spread or a tree with different branches, I think that's not useful. I think for anti-fascist purposes, we have to get a totally different image in our minds, where there are actually, I don't know, I've tried different things, maybe two wolves is an image I want, or frankly, a class antagonism. I mean, there's a feminist undercommons, and a feminism that has had quite significant sort of bourgeois and colonial and anti-black and ableist and imperial commitments. And it's not just, I think with exceptions, because people are always writing incredible books, but in a weird, with exceptions, the conversation about faults in feminism is about
femphobia doesn't mean being a capitalist. Femphobia means rejecting the idea of the femme because capitalism created the feminine gender role, but femme is different than feminine. So like Sophie's position with femphobia is saying we as communists should not be afraid of embracing the femme, because Sophie likes to dress like a girl even though she's a queer non-binary, because capitalism created this idea of femininity, but they're not doing femininity, they're doing femme, which is anti-capitalist.
This good core thing, feminism, that sort of runs into trouble by standing too near the actual baddies, or making some bad choices, or being co-opted, being instrumentalized, being tricked, making mistakes, which I actually paradoxically think is quite maybe unfeminist, because I mean, what I'm trying to say is like take feminism seriously enough to hold it accountable for its misdeeds, because I don't think that works. I don't think there's this kind of core thing.
How do you communize breastfeeding? You buy formula. You use formula. That's how.
I think there are genuinely different, but real feminisms, and some of them are actually fascist, which is, that's my last book. I shouldn't really be.
Some feminisms are fascist because some feminisms uphold capitalism.
Talking about that. Here, it's a nice candy cloud covered book I'm offering here that hopefully is a bit less scary, I suppose, than a book that's red that says that'll be feminisms. But I mean, I do think they're part of the same project.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of connectivity to now I'm doing it. Enemy feminism in this book, in part because like part of what you're trying to do with like imagining a femphilic orientation is is going against femphobia, and I feel like this book sort of arrived in my life at kind of the exact right moment, in part because I feel like we're in an intensely femphobic period, and I don't know, there's like so much echoing sort of post Me Too of like the splintering of feminism during.
All right, guys, for people who haven't heard me say this already, I can't control their fucking volume. So sometimes when you're listening to communist live streams, you need to put on your big boy pants, get a fucking set of headphones, and that's the way it rolls, bro. That's the way it rolls. If you can't deal with it, go somewhere else. Way it goes. It's as loud as it's going to get, guys. I cannot do anything about it.
Right. And so like you see a sort of unifying principle momentarily, like a consciousness raising, like oriented unifying principle with Me Too. And then you have the sort of conservative backlash, and then you have the backlash to the backlash, and then you have the backlash that's sort of about feminists thinking about the thing splintering and to a total diversity of like critiques and alliances. And yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking so much about this, and we don't have to, follow my obsession, but I've been thinking a lot about this moment. This is one of the things I loved about your book, is that like you're so pro artifice and yeah, like I don't know, I'm like a surged up bitch. Like I love that like you appreciate a surged up bitch. And I was thinking so much recently about like like how there are like very legitimate critiques, for example, of like the beauty industrial complex, right? Of course, but like there's so much. I'm seeing this everywhere, and I've been writing about it for a magazine. Essentially, a sort of like defense of surgery, right, and a defense of Botox, and partly because this sort of repudiation of, we see sort of like three, I think, intensely femphobic calibrations right now among feminists, which are we're in an anti-trans moment, we're in an anti-sex work moment, and we're in an anti-plastic surgery moment. And I mean, in addition to many other things, but I feel like those things are sort of bringing a lot of female intellectuals that like I have admiration and respect for together in a very like, and it feels very, maybe we can also talk about Dworkin, because Dworkin is having such a renaissance, and I'm seeing like a Dworkinian worldview trickle down through people who some have read her, some haven't, but it's like there's something sort of just very apocalyptic and strange and I think intensely misogynistic about how we can critique the beauty industry, but like sure, yes, we should do that. Do we need to do so by like pillorying women who like,
you must really hate new viewers? No, dude, no, I hate retards who play victim. You just earned yourself a 5-minute timeout. You ever come back and whine in my chat again, I will permanently ban you from the channel. Guys, we have 2 rules. Number 1, don't be a dick. Number 2, no whining. I don't care about your feelings. I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I don't care if you cry. I truly don't give a flying fuck. If you aren't here to listen to the left and learn about the left, and all you want me to do is coddle you and give you a cookie for your tears or whatever, you can get the fuck out and go back to Fox News. Duchess! W's Duchess, thank you so much for the 5 gifted channel memberships. Really, really appreciate it. And it's always the people who never donate to the channel that always complain the loudest. Isn't that funny? It is literally always the people who complain the loudest that never send in channel memberships, that never send in super chats. They just come in here and whine and complain and whine and complain and whine and complain, and that's all they do. Guys, we got half an hour to get 51 more channel memberships. 30 minutes until Spy Stream tonight. By the way, if you're not a channel member and you want to join us for Spy Stream, you can buy a channel membership on your own. You don't have to wait to be gifted one. If you're gifted one, great. But that will also count towards the goal. So let's see if we can get there, guys. 30 more minutes to get 51 channel memberships. I think we can do it. That's 10 people gifting 5 and then 1 more on top of it. I think we can do it. Rumble, you're not off the hook either. You guys are being slackers today. I really hope I'll see some support from Rumble today, because I got a little gift for you guys as well for Spy Stream. So if you appreciate what I do for you, Rumble, let me know with some memberships.
I saw someone.
Yo, SoCal LFWs! Thank you.
Said, would you rather be able to, what was it? It was like, would you rather freeze the muscles in your forehead or be able to investigate your soul? As if like bitches who have Botox are not ensouled any longer. And it's just like that sort of, and it's like someone who's like a very well-respected novelist, I think generally like a.
Hey, Maria Callis fan, thank you so much for the super chat. If you're having volume issues, there's a speaker icon on your screen with a slider. And while I went to engineering school, I figured it out I figured it out as a music major. Yep. Some people just don't know how the volume works. I'm sorry, guys. I wish I could turn up their volume. I really can't. So this is what we have to do. Okay, it is what it is.
Reasonably smart person who is
Good boots, Sophie. Good boots, Sophie. All right, look at those boots.
Working thing, right? It's like speaking on behalf of other women, like imagining oneself as an advocate for women who have failed to consent to their lives properly.
Yeah.
And I feel like that feels like a very intense, interesting, fascinating thread that you're playing with here and playing with an enemy feminisms. And that, yeah, for me, that was a connective thread between the books. But anyway, sorry, I'm going on.
No, why would you apologize? This is exactly what I'm here to hear you talk about. I'd like you to carry on, in fact. I mean, I'll maybe to ask you more, but people, I think, I mean, I try and say this in the introduction, you're going after the wrong, you're lumping things together when you think you're doing anti-fascism by mocking, well, I suppose she's old news now, she's history, but Christine Owens, or, whatever, if we're going to mock our enemies with reference to their, femininity performance, who wins? I mean, who wins ultimately? This is, I think this is a pretty basic point. So it's quite killjoyish in some contexts. It comes across as it's like, you want to defend Christine Owens.
Thank you, A&S. Appreciate it, bro.
Sort of. We're muddying our understanding of her fascism by going after these things. I mean, there is a politics to aesthetics, I believe, right? When people talk about MAGA face or whatever.
Mar-a-Lago face.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Mar-a-Lago
Maybe
face.
I'm betraying this already, but it's there's a reason. I mean, I'm a femme, envy-ish, lazy, low femme, but a femme file. I really appreciate it without necessarily. I even forgot to get my nails done for this. And I'll almost certainly have my shirt on the wrong way around at any given point. But I think it's not it's you don't have to be, it doesn't take one to know one, in fact, right? And in fact, I am trying to make sure, so this is a bit of an excursus that might seem quite trivial, but I think in case there's this misunderstanding at large about what femme means, it actually doesn't mean like a certain set of things like nails or makeup. This is actually about an orientation toward the labor of, pleasing, babying, beautifying, caring, which is quite expansive and is available quite genuinely to all, and should be accessible to all, and should be, I think, much more commonly understood and appreciated and thought collectively as a labor, not as an identity. I'm not actually interested in femme as an identity, although I respect that history very much, right? It comes out of working class, butch, femme, dyke bars. It's a very treasured, precious history, and because it is such a brilliant delineation, it was historically almost immediately taken up by other femininities, which were not part of a specifically lesbian working class milieu, but were perhaps sex working, trans feminine, or effeminate. There is sort of a moment in Dworkinian history, in fact, right, Dworkin's male partner was a self-described effeminist in the 70s. This is also sort of femme, and it remains the case on, as I understand it, on Grindr, no fats, no femmes, right? The analysis of femme needs to incorporate, in fact, the kind of anti-racist, fat liberationist theory that someone like Deshawn Harrison so brilliantly is promulgating at the moment. Of course, one needs to think about constituencies, and I'm not trying to completely suggest, that there's no, feminized collective subject that is the historic subject of feminism. I do think that, femme understood as labor throws things very wide open and invites a very many gendered.
Femme understood as labor. I do think that femme understood as labor. Femme being understood as oppressed.
Throws things very wide open and invites a very many gendered sort of care communizational constituent.
When you understand femme as the proletariat, you invite many genders into the idea of femme. Femme means proletariat. Femme means oppressed. That is why femme is inherently anti-capitalist. Anyone of any gender can be femme. That is Sophie's argument.
And this is really the core of my, if you want to call it, beef with Andrea Dworkin, because I very sincerely perceive her thought to be nationalist, to be sex nationalist. And that's not to say she has a totally coherent vision of where women should go, where should they take themselves, although she flirts with it in a book that nobody ever quotes. It's not excerpted in the big anthology, Last Days at Hot Slit, but it's the book that she wrote almost last in her life, and where I think it's the most scholarly one. It's got absolutely so many references. She must have read stacks and stacks. And it's the book that nobody ever talks about from Dworkin's oeuvre. It's called Scapegoat, and it's nominally, what's the subtitle? The Jews, Women, and Israel. I should have that written down. But it's nominally about Zionism and how it's quite bad, but not that bad. She's really willing to go. The thing that's so scary about the book is that she is actually, in her very appealing, I think, to some people way, she's willing to go so far into the violence of the liberation project required. So she's like, oh God, this is incredibly bad what Jews are doing to get free. It's just dreadful. It's really, really bad. It's a bit fascist. But what you gonna do? Like, and that chills me. It chills me so much. She's scared. I'm not at all chill with my critique. I've had such a, itch to try and understand it. I think there's an essay by Charlotte Shane that's about, will I be able to understand sex worker exclusionary radical feminists by reading enough of it? Will I one day understand? Will I get it? And I have a bit of that. I have a bit of a neurospicy sort of, I will understand this if I listen to. I mean, I've dunked my head in the acid vat of TERFism for about 12 years at this point. My poor partner, Vicky, had to kind of deal with me putting so much of it in my brain to try and understand it. She would be like,
Wait,
I fell asleep with a TERF podcast.
Did Sophie just call her core partner? Oh, poor partner, partner, Vicky. Okay. I am fairly certain that Sophie is polyamorous because I follow Sophie on Instagram, and Sophie is in a lesbian relationship with a person named Vicky, and that's who Sophie lives with. But Sophie also spends a lot of time naked with this man. And I don't know who he is, but he's on her Instagram a lot, and Sophie has been naked in the lake with him. And so I'm pretty sure Sophie's polyamorous. I'm just saying.
Me putting so much of it in my brain to try and understand it. She would be like, you fell asleep with a TERF podcast. Head. This is actually really polluting the vibes that I'm having to draw out. Where was I going? So, I think I actually went to the sort of very, very beginning of Dworkin's trajectory and the very, very end. And I do think this clarified some things for me, although, like Shane, I think that I have to sort of let go of the idea that I will get it in some way. What motivates these particular fascist feminist formations. But with Dworkin, I think there are some really, really, really readily available clues that they give us something. She was a sex radical before she became Andrea Dworkin TN. And I don't think people really know that. Maybe they do. But I mean, she was, before she got beaten to a pulp by her husband, who then went on to brutalize dozens more women, She was, in her own words, a utopianist about sex, and she was like, let's liberate an eroticized.
I wonder if I gave Sophie this idea. I wonder if I gave her the idea to do this. Maybe I did. Who knows? Maybe I did. Maybe I did. Hey guys, I just want to do a quick time check. In 20 minutes, we are ending this stream. And we will be going into Spy Stream to watch a live leftist organizing call about crafting a political narrative. So if you want to hear how leftists craft their political narrative in real time, come to the Spy Stream in 20 minutes. The way you get into Spy Stream is you become a supporter of my work. Either you become a Substack supporter, and you can find the information over on my Substack, which is Karlyn. Oh shit. KARLYN.substack.com. You can become a supporter on my locals, my Patreon. You can become a Twitter subscriber. And if you are a YouTube channel member, what you do is you go to the post tab. And when you are a YouTube channel member, at the very top, the first post will be a link to tonight's Spy Stream. Okay, so that is how you come to Spy Stream with us. You either get a YouTube channel membership, you get gifted one, you buy one, you get a Substack membership or a Locals membership or a Patreon membership or a Twitter subscription. Whatever you guys want to do. I would love to get another 56 gifted memberships on this stream tonight. If we can hit the membership goal, that would be really rad. If we can't hit the membership goal, then I'm going to have to think about how much I'm streaming for free and all that stuff, because I got to fund my work somehow, and it's just the way it goes. I do appreciate everyone who sent in 54 channel memberships so far, and I would love to get a couple more in there before we end the stream in the next 20 minutes or so. And the more memberships we get, the more people who can come to Spy Stream later tonight. We're also doing a Spy Stream tomorrow, and I think on Friday too. So it's like a full week of Spy Stream. This is content you're not going to see anywhere else. So if you guys appreciate the work I do, please support the community by gifting some channel memberships. Help us get towards our goal. That would be awesome.
Universal transsexuality. She phrased it.
That goes for you too, Rumble. Don't think I'm not paying attention.
Defended fucking animals, she writes about this very first sort of writing of her writing career. She doesn't actually defend fucking animals, but she's what she's into a sort of liberate children, sexuality, dissolve the incest taboo, fuck all the time.
I hope we make the goal too.
Fuck,
we'll see.
Which is,
if we don't make the goal, I might not be streaming tomorrow. So we'll see. If we don't make the goal tonight for the second day in a row, I'm going to have to reconsider some things, and that would kind of suck, but that's the way it goes, guys. If you don't fund stuff, it goes away. And that's the lesson that I need to teach people.
Firestone and Kate Millett are also talking about, that sort of form of children's liberationism, which is extremely sort of indigestible for good reason to us today, and really needs to be confronted more, I think, actually, rather than just sort of skirted around. Although I've been very guilty of the skirting too. But then she does this 180, and she decides that it's her fault that her husband has become this horrible criminal, sadistic brute. And I think it's extremely difficult to put pressure on that without coming across as very callous, but it's also very, very important. We have to put pressure on somebody's epistemic insistence that she is actually the one responsible but by teaching him S&M, right? She writes this whole story about how she trains this man into sadomasochistic sex play, and then he goes off and does terrible things, not just to her, but
you're in these streams all the time. Do you ever hear them talk about incest? You're literally in these streams all the time. Have you ever once heard them talk about incest? The answer is no, by the way. If you say anything else, you're lying. So people talk about things they care about. The fact that you've never heard them talk about incest probably should be a clue that it's not something that's top of mind.
Lots of other women, and she decides it's actually her fault, and so the fault, and that's actually a consolatory. It's horrible, right? It's really horrible that she felt that way, and maybe it seems like a lack of empathy. I think I'm very empathetic about it, and I think it's also very solipsistic and very dangerous and very wrong, right? To entertain the fantasy that it's actually your kinkiness that produced this, and so now you have the secret. You can externalize.
Okay, let me be even more clear for the retards in the chat. Josh, this is a question just for you. Josh, I have thousands of hours of socialist videos documented and archived on this channel. Thousands of hours. Josh, what percent of these socialist videos I have documented on this channel do you think they bring up incest in? This is a question just for you, bro. No one else answer. Josh, what percentage of the thousands of hours that I have documented on this channel, what percentage do you think they're talking about incest, bro? We're waiting, Josh. We're waiting for your answer. You're holding up the entire stream, bro. Holding up the entire stream. See, here's the thing about conservatives. You people are obsessed with perverse sex. You really are. You really are. One person mentions one thing in a presentation one time, and you ignore all of the other evidence that exists, all the thousands of hours of evidence to say you have no idea. Exactly. So let me be clear, Josh. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Okay. You know what? Fuck it. Bye, Josh. Permanent ban. You pissed me off. and I don't feel like arguing with you. We're not gonna be arguing with the retards anymore. We are not gonna be arguing with the retards anymore. We're just gonna be either timing them out or deporting them from the channel. That's what we're gonna be doing. Don't have the patience for this. Sorry.
The kinky.
If you get timed out or you get
You know,
permanently banned,
this
you know
has
why.
the
You're
enemy of
retarded.
humanity for the rest of your days. You know, cast it out. Of
And you're
yourself.
distracting. And you're probably a conservative retard that's pushing conservative bullshit talking points because you are distracted by perverse sex acts, because conservatives are obsessed with perverse sex acts because they're sexually repressed. Just to be really clear about it. This is why conservatives all pedophilia, when no one is even talking about that to any great degree, but that's all they hear in their fucked up brain because they're probably Googling like incest porn at night and things like that, and they're pretending that they're not, but they are because that's why they're obsessed. Just saying.
And right. I mean, she writes it so explicitly. She's like, I
God.
used to believe in sexual utopia. Now I understand what the truth of my dreams has come to pornography. And so she just spent the rest of her life sort of watching pornography because it was the secret of everything bad. And it came from her. It came from inside her. And then so she had to turn herself outside in, but sort of undialectically. And then, you know, at the end of her life, she felt, I think, compelled to finally say what she thinks should be done. She tried to say, okay, well, I've written God knows how many books saying that women are, you know, burned and hacked and sawed and ripped and torn. You know, the Dworkin book, right? It's, you know, but now maybe as I'm writing about Israel, I should finally write what I think women should do. And the really bananas thing is that Israel is kind of her model, right? She doesn't seriously go on and on about how this is going to be implemented, but it is essentially her answer. It's land. It's a sort of sex nationalism where men would be expelled, essentially. And I, you know, and I think that's important information about the trajectory of this person's, you know, theorizing. I find it deeply pessimistic. I find it very...
Okay, guys, I'm going to ask one more time as we are heading into the last part of this presentation. I'm going to ask one more time. Can we make some progress towards the channel membership goal, or should I just end the stream? Are we going to get anywhere close to the channel membership goal today, or should I just call it a day on the stream and I'll see you guys at Spy Stream? Because for some reason, YouTube is not pushing the video today. There aren't as many viewers as there usually are. Maybe people just don't want Sophie content anymore. Maybe people don't think that this is interesting, and that's totally fine. It's good information. If I know that people aren't interested in this, I just won't stream Sophie content anymore. Is this for channel memberships? Is this for channel? Yeah, you just said a $50 super chat. Is this for channel memberships, this judging one? I'm betting you it is. I'm betting you it is. Betting you it is. We'll give you a dub for that. We'll give you a dub. Thank you so much. That's 10 gifted channel memberships. Really appreciate it. Guys, can we get up to the 75% mark? Can we get 11 more, please? Can we get 11 more? And actually, you know what? I'll gift out 10 channel memberships right now. I think I can. Hang on. I will gift out 10 channel memberships. There's 5. And there's 5 more. Can we get 11 more? And that's on behalf of Is Judging You, who just sent in that $50 super chat. So we're getting some more people channel memberships so they can come and join Spy Stream. We got Tolkien Fan in with 1. Thank you so much, Tolkien Fan. Guys, can we get 10 more to finish the stream with Sophie? I told you guys I was going to keep you honest about this goal. I told you it was going to happen. Nick. We got Red Menace Nick in with 5 massive W's, my friend. Appreciate that very, very much. We need 5 more, guys. 5 more to hit the 75% goal. And we got Grillis. Thank you. Good man. W's. Really appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for supporting the community.
In capitalism, which matters to me. I find it very, very uninterested in colonialism. And it is anti-utopian, which is kind of my least favorite thing. I really think people think they're clever.
Yeah.
When they
Mario! W's to you, good sir. W's to you. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted channel memberships, bro. You rock.
It's not cleverness, right? It's cowardice. And I wish people would read other people from the 70s. There are all kinds of people to pick. Why are we picking her?
I think she feels sort of like a very obvious choice in this moment, and like this maybe touches on. We have one more question, and we're gonna open up, but you know, it seems to me like no surprise that Dworkin is having a renaissance in the Me Too era, right? Like, and this can also maybe tie into heteropessimism or hetero optimism, and thinking about you know, Me Too has, you know, I've written extensively about the Me Too era and like the backlash against it, et cetera, but you know, it feels very obvious that heteropessimism, which Asa Saracen coined, and you know, but it also has like a sort of, it was zeitgeist, you know, it is its own sort of zeitgeist. That at the moment we're kind of like finally acknowledging that something like rape is totally endemic. So like it is the foundation stone in some ways of like patriarchal society sometimes, right? And so like heteropessimism emerges, like, because of course, like if you are a woman who fucks men, like you should be embarrassed about it. Like look at what they do to us, right? And that's
what?
Kind of, precisely like Dworkinian approach.
If you are a woman who fucks men, you should be embarrassed. No, I don't think I am. No, sorry, no.
In some ways, but yeah, now I'm just jumping off. But thinking, I suppose, like, where are we? And how can I like tie everything together? Like, where are we in the feminist moment, in your opinion? Like, what is, this does feel like a very utopic book, and a book that's about reclaiming an eros, not just like an erotics, but an eros, like a sort of more ambient thing. And like, I think one of the ways that you approach this is bringing other like people into your pantheon. You like have a lovely essay on the sort of transformations of Daphne. You have Lita and Swan. You have Marilyn, who I love, who I think is, yeah, like the perfect sort of icon for this book, and the complications and the sadnesses and the pleasures.
Well, the reason they don't have blue hair and piercings is because this is a conservative retard stereotype. The vast majority of people on the left do not have blue hair. They do not have pink hair, and they do not have piercings. And a lot of them don't even have tattoos. And so the reason that you're surprised is because you listen to conservative retard media who has lied to you, and you have stereotypical misinformation floating around in your head, and it's not helpful to you in understanding the left. So I suggest you unlearn that shit because it's stupid.
So it's interesting that it feels like feminism is so atomized in this moment, and that is sort of like, you know, that's another one of the ravages of capitalism, that it sort of compels you to strategically calibrate. Like there's not like necessarily like as organized a sort of feminist politic in this moment. You're like, you have to sort of pick your battles, and I'm this kind of feminist, I'm that kind of feminist. And so I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking about, you know, you are someone who unifies a lot of the ways that I think about gender and sex and feminist thought in this moment. So I don't know, maybe you can just tell me how to solve the world.
I was saying, well, I do sort of have a serious-ish response, although I fear it's not the whole world that it would fix. But I am well, actually, sort of, yeah, right. I think I mentioned this at the beginning. The household, actually, I mean, I'm not. Feminism is a very, you know, core project for me. I really think I was saturated with feminist affect from an like almost, you know, really toddlery age, you know. And there are anecdotes about this. I also happen to have had a parent who wanted to explicitly be anti-feminist to me in dialogue from almost my first.
Yo, Hans!
I think about
Hans in like a fucking legend with 10 gifted channel memberships. W's, bro. Thank you to you very, very much, getting us 90% of the way to our goal.
Gender in an embattled way. and I care so much. And I think it kind of sticks on me a bit. The question of whether rape is the foundation stone of patriarchal society.
Rape is the foundation of patriarchal society, capitalist society.
The need to find that one foundation stone. Dworkin had diagrams about which thing is the core thing. Very, very important for her. And I choose, the mode of reproduction writ large over what she would objectification and rape for her. Right? I don't think you need to particularly downgrade sexual violence as an instrument of capitalist and racial and colonial discipline. But
capitalism creates sexual violence, according to Sophie.
I don't think I put disrespect on that, on the significance of rape at all. When, however, I prioritize the privatization of care in nuclear households as the core, and I think this kind of gives us a completely different politics. But there's always the need to attend extremely carefully and sensitively to rape, and not, for instance,
they don't even know what a woman is. Again, demonstrating that you can always tell the people who are consuming conservative retard media, hey, retard, they don't care what a woman is. Their goal is to abolish all gender. That means all gender. They want to abolish men. They want to abolish women. They do not care about your definition of a woman because they believe men and women are social constructs created by capitalism. They are made up categories that are not real, and they want to get rid of them. And your conservative retard media, and especially Matt Walsh, who doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, by the way, they don't understand the people that they're making these bullshit documentaries about. And therefore, people like you come away monumentally misinformed. And then you come on a channel like this where we actually study the far left and listen to them and understand what they're saying. And then people like you come in and you do these stupid conservative retard talking points. And we know you don't know what you're talking about because they do not give a flying fuck what a woman is. Sophie herself has actually addressed this in her presentations. If you ever bothered to listen to this woman, who is one of the key people pushing the concept of abolishing the nuclear family in the country right now and has been for years and years and years, you people don't know what you're fucking talking about, and you think you know everything. You're the very definition of the Dunning-Kruger effect, bro. Welcome to the high IQ side of the internet. Jan, appreciate it. That's going to be 4 memberships, Jan. That'll be 4, and I'm so sorry you can't do it from the app because YouTube sucks, but I do appreciate that. I will count that towards the membership goal. Thank you so much.
Make assertions about its worse than deathness that normatively insist that, when of course the truth is sometimes yes, sometimes no, right? And this the thing I want to insist feminism can be and has been, the wolf, the other wolf, in the undercommons of feminist history is a care communizational feminism.
Care communization.
Interested in
abolition of the family.
Sexuality not as a practice of erotic, choices, but as an economic structure, the family, right?
Family.
The family as a microcosm of
capitalism,
and as the sort of cell of the capitalist economy, and as
the family is a microcosm of the nation, the capitalist nation. They believe the United States is a capitalist nation because it has borders. Borders are private property. Capitalism is defined as private property ownership. The family is a microcosm of the capitalist nation. That's what Sophie just said. And the capitalist economy. The nuclear family is a product of capitalism. The nuclear family reproduces capitalism. The nuclear family is the smallest, well, it's not the smallest. The individual is the smallest privatized unit. But the family is a smaller privatized unit that privatizes care and property to a select few rather than to the many. That is what Sophie is saying there. Guys, we're going to watch this for a couple more minutes. The presentation where spy streaming doesn't get started until 7 p.m. So we do have a little bit of extra time. But let's just, listen to this again and we'll let this play as much as we can.
Erotic, choices, but as an economic structure, the family, right? And the family as a microcosm of the nation and as the sort of cell of the capitalist economy. And as
A family is the cell of the capitalist economy. Wouldn't that be the epitome of patriarchy? A trans woman telling natural women how to be a woman? No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be at all. The patriarchy are the socially constructed gender roles under capitalism. That is explicitly what the patriarchy is. This is not the patriarchy. The patriarchy is the capitalist constructed gender roles of men and women, men having all the power and all the money, women doing the reproductive labor. That is what the patriarchy is. There is no other definition of it. Sheikah Lago in with a membership. Guys, can we get 5 more memberships to get us across the goal? We're 5 of the goal, guys. That would be rad.
Instrument of colonial dispossession and discipline. And I think that's so, it's extraordinarily important to me that attention be brought back to this long, this is why I abolished the family, which is really, it was commissioned as a pamphlet, just by the way, publishing, truths. I wrote it, I was asked for a pamphlet and then everyone was like, oh, you've written a second book. And I was like, oh my God, I have not. But it's kind of my best known thing. But it's very short, and that's a virtue in some ways. And then you can go and read Amy O'Brien's very serious sort of family abolition historicization. Mine's a sort of readable introduction to the core problems. Like people say, well, you can't mean the Black family, you can't mean the indigenous family or the queer family or the working class family. And I try in this very sort of hopefully readable essay book, little red book, to explain, well, actually that
it is a little red book, actually.
It's all the family, it's the privatization of care in a household organized around the couple form, a biogenetic centered notion of kinship and private unwaged care. And if we can imagine heteropessimism.
Yo, we got another 20 from Smash Cultural Marxism. I'm on the app too. I'll add that to memberships, guys. We need 1 more membership. 1 more. Much love, Dr. K. There's a special place in the burn pile for Sophie's books. Thanks for all you do. Yeah, I think that would be great. Let's have a Sophie book burning party sometime. That would be fucking rad. That would be rad. Guys, we need 1 more channel membership to meet our goal. Do we have a hero? Do we have a hero in the chat that's going to get us across the goal? Who's going to be the hero today? Who's going to be the hero today in the chat that's going to get us across the channel membership goal? I think someone's going to do it. We got to go. So someone better do it quick. We got to go to SpyStream, guys. If you haven't signed up for SpyStream yet, you can still grab that channel member. Tangled Bliss. Holy shit. Holy shit. Goes into a timeout earlier because you fucking pissed me off. Comes back and is the fucking hero of the chat for the day. You know what? I love it. I love it. I love a good fucking redemption arc. I fucking love it. I love it. I love it. We got Mike in as well. Thank you so much, Mike, for that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yo, I love a good redemption arc. I really, really do. Guys, unfortunately, we aren't going to be able to finish the Sophie presentation because we do actually have to go to SpyStream. So I appreciate everyone putting up with my yapping and begging and pleading and cajoling. But I just really want as many people to have access to SpyStream tonight as possible. So if you just got one of those channel memberships, how you're going to find the link to SpyStream is you go to my YouTube channel member homepage, you click on the post tab. When you are a YouTube channel member, it will be the very first post in the tab. So that is the link to SpyStream. If you are on the Substack, you can find it on the homepage. If you are a member on Locals, Patreon, or Twitter, you can find the information on whatever platform you are a member on in the supporter feed or whatever it's called. It should be right at the top. So I am going to be shutting down this stream now. We're going to be going into a live organizing call to hear the left talk about crafting a political narrative. Thank you to everyone who gave channel memberships today. You guys fucking rock. Carrie Smith is are we surprised the retard in the chat follows Carrie Smith? This is probably Poetry Painter. Carrie Smith is a fucking psychopath who gang stalked me for years and worked with someone who wanted to try to get me to kill myself. So am I familiar with Carrie Smith? Probably more than you are. Yeah, probably more than you are, retard. Probably much, much, much more than you are. I promise. In fact, I think that's going to be your deportation from the channel because I think you're one of Carrie Smith's friends trying to cause problems and we got other shit to do. Yeah, she's an evil bitch. Yeah, psychopathic, some might say. Anyway, guys, we got to end the stream. I will see you on the other side for Spy Stream, and I'll be back tomorrow for more coverage and more Spy Streaming. Thank you, guys. See you then.